Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 10 at Woodbine on Woodbine Mile Saturday is the Grade 1 Northern Dancer Turf. Let's take a look at this field. We're going to be traveling 1.5 miles on the E.P. Taylor Turf Course, a field of 8. And as you see, one of the 2 Keeneland graduates in this race, the number 8 Hawkbill, is going to be a very heavy favorite chipping in from overseas.
Yeah, I guess that's justified considering, who he's running against and the credentials that he brings in with him from Europe. I mean, especially his last 2 races, I feel like he ran really well in both of those after running a bit of a stinker 3 starts back. It sounded like after that race 3 starts back, they were going to give him some time off. They didn't give him any time off. They came back 11 days later, and he won a Group 2 race. So it seems like he ships in here in good form, and he gets Lasix.
The great part about the Timeform U.S. past performances is you get all of the analysis from our Timeform commentators overseas. And if you go through the race-by-race commentary on Hawkbill, yes, he rolled through 6 consecutive victories early in his career, including the Group 1 Coral Eclipse. They mentioned in that Juddmonte International, maybe he didn't like firm going that much. That could be a strike against him. In a couple of these other races, while he's won at 1.5 miles, they kind of think that might be testing the limit for him a little bit. That might be something. They mention that he gets really worked up before his races, sweated up, anxious in the post parade. Maybe that works against Hawkbill at a short price. But just from his form lines, and that horse that beat him last time out in Germany is a pretty good horse. He came back to win a Group 2 in France. He just might have caught the right field here.
Yeah, exactly. There are ways to look at him and not necessarily be thrilled. I think what you have to really like about him, though, is just maybe the field that he catches in this race. The other thing is, it sounds like he really has some pretty decent speed and get forward in his races. You start going through this field, there's like almost no pace in here. You just might wind up getting a wonderful trip in this race. He's a deserving favorite whether you want to take a shot against him or not.
That's the perfect segue to our Timeform U.S. pace projector. And of course, we lack pace data because there are no fractional times in Europe to consider. Hawkbill, in all likelihood, the number 8, is going to be on the lead in this race. The horse that Timeform U.S. has on the lead is the 6, Seeking Albert, a horse who in his last 3 races, the closest he's been after the first call has been 4 lengths off the lead. Even with blinkers on, Seeking Albert can't step with Hawkbill. I think they're not fooling around with what they consider to be the best horse. I think Hawkbill's probably going to the front and probably will control a measured pace. That is if he doesn't get too headstrong and crazy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You just have to hope that when they come out of there running with him, and that's what they're supposed to do, that he can, sort of settle in. And, if we catch firm ground on Saturday, that doesn't work against him as well. But I think you're right. I think you're going to see him on the lead here.
If not Hawkbill, then who? Johnny Bear just won the Halton Stakes, a restricted race on August the 30th. He got a beautiful trip saving ground. He came up the rail. He won. It's nice to see that Johnny Bear appreciates these longer distances, but this is a big step up in class.
The distance, I guess, is fine for him. He handled it last time. We'll see if he can handle it now against some better horses. And you're right, he got such a perfect trip last time at a decent price in a restricted race. I felt like that was a pretty good time to have.
English Illusion chased Johnny Bear in vain last time out. It resulted in a career best Beyer speed figure. He has to do even better.
Yeah, I don't really see his race that makes him a big contender in here.
Camp Creek, who won the Breeders' Stakes, one of the 3 legs of the Canadian Triple Crown last year, I thought ran a very fine 6th in this race against older horses last year. The problem is his 2 subsequent starts have not been good at all. He's now with Kevin Attard.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with him. I would be willing to give him at least one more chance to rebound, even if it's just to, throw him in there 2nd or 3rd in this race if he's going to be some kind of big price. I don't really care about his last race that much. It was his first start off the layoff. There was no pace in that race. He didn't do that much running either. He's had some time since then. I really liked his first 2 turf starts last year. And even as you say, his Northern Dancer wasn't a total embarrassment. I think this horse has some ability. He's going to be a big price in here.
Noble Thought stretched out for the first time, all the way out. Last time in the Grade 2 Sky Classic, he caught a heavy favorite in Can't Help Believing from the Graham Motion barn, and he belatedly made up some ground to finish 2nd. From a speed figure standpoint, it was far and away his best effort. And he's lightly raced enough that maybe another forward move is coming. Why don't I like that race more?
Yeah, I agree with you. I got to say, I really felt like when I first started going through this race, I was going to try and make a case for this horse. I can't say that I particularly like any one of his turf races all that much, and I know that he was 2nd best last time when they stretched him out. I'm not so sure I want this horse going 1.5 miles in here.
I'm Pumpkin Rumble's biggest fan.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
been 2 years about since he's won a race. He's had situations, I thought, in the Nijinsky and the Sky Classic from a pace and trip standpoint where he was supposed to be punching on, and he was, and he found one or two better. And I'm just not sure if chasing Hawkbill is going to be a recipe for success.
Right, I think he will be up close early in this race. I'm with you. As a horse who I've liked in the past, I feel like he has probably lost a step.
As a 3-year-old that handles 1.5 miles and has just run well in the Breeders' Stakes, they're taking a chance with Seeking Albert, who could be more forward with the addition of blinkers, but they're just kind of taking a shot here.
Yeah, I suppose he could be more forward in this race, but he better up his game in a big way.
Let's take a look at our selections for the Northern Dancer Turf. And as I said to you before we came on the air, I chickened out and picked Hawkbill. He's the most likely winner
He
on
is.
paper. I think, though, the horse that maybe you're supposed to bet is Messi.
Maybe. We'll see. I feel like you and I think we look at this horse the exact same way, actually. I feel like if you go back and watch his last race at Saratoga, and I understand it was an allowance race, that you want to give him another chance out of that race. Because talk about a trip not working out, where a horse, just got totally taken back and shuffled all the way out of position, where they just walked on the lead. And then came with a good finish up the inside late, and it was just too late, and he could not get up. That was a really good effort for this horse, even though he didn't win. I don't know. I'm not his biggest fan. I've never really been a big Messi fan, but I recognize that he ran well in that race. He's run well in some graded stakes races before. He's in fact run well over this turf course, going longer before a win up here last year in the Sky Classic. So I like that about him. And I just was sort of looking for an alternative to Hawkbill, who you sort of laid out all the things that at least give you some cause for concern about him. Messi's the horse for me. I'm going to take a little shot here. I wish I liked him more as a horse, but I think this is the race to take a shot with.
You're right. I feel the same way. When he won that week edition of the Knickerbocker a couple of years ago, I was like, well, he looked good doing it. Maybe I'm going to follow Messi. And he just then kind of disappointed at shortish prices. He then came up here and won the Sky Classic, and maybe I thought Messi was coming back into form, and then no dice for a couple of races in a row. You're right about that trip last time out. Just no pace from the start. Shuffled all the way back to last on the rail, pretty much entering the second of 3 turns, rolling in the lane, and the horses that were on the pace basically ran 1-2, and they've come back to do good things.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to like with Messi. Graham Motion is his trainer. He'll of course be a better price than Hawkbill. 4.82 for Mike, 8.437 for me in the Grade 1 Northern Dancer, race number 10 at Woodbine on a big afternoon of racing. As an approximate post time of 5:31 Eastern. Best of luck.